You know that feeling? That mix of excitement and fear when you dive into freelancing. You tell yourself you need to be a Swiss Army knife. You proudly add to your profile, logo design, website development, video editing, copywriting, community management. I do it all. You think that the more services you offer, the better your chances of snagging a client. Makes sense, right? More nets in the water, more fish. Except that's a lie. It's the most dangerous, most insidious lie, the one that has shattered more freelance careers than any economic crisis. This is what I call the generalist trap. Today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to dissect it, deconstruct it through a story inspired by very real events, so you never fall for it. We'll explore together the 7 steps of this silent descent into hell, from the illusion of abundance to the revelation that can change everything. Buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Chapter 1: The Illusion of Abundance. Let me tell you about Leo. Leo is that super motivated, talented young graphic designer who just quit his job to live his passion. His portfolio is magnificent, but it's a veritable supermarket catalog. You'll find logos, website mockups, brochures, illustrations, and even animations he picked up from a tutorial last weekend. He's convinced that this diversity is his strength. His first client arrives. A small local boutique. They need a logo. Leo is thrilled. He does a fantastic job. The client, pleased, says, "By the way, you wouldn't happen to do flyers too?" Leo, wanting to be helpful, says yes. Then, and a quick update to our website? It's WordPress, that's simple, right? Leo, who has only built 3 websites in his life, accepts, gritting his teeth. In the end, he spent 3 weeks working for this client, on 3 different tasks, for a ridiculously low overall price. He's happy to have his first testimonial, but he's already exhausted. He dabbled in everything, without excelling anywhere, and most importantly, without charging the true value of each skill. This first victory, he doesn't know it yet, is actually the first rung on the ladder leading downwards. But this is just the beginning of the problem. Chapter 2: Drowning in the Ocean of Competition. Buoyed by this first experience, Leo signs up on freelancing platforms. And that's when reality hits. He types graphic designer. 100,000 results. He types website creator. 200,000 results. He's one among hundreds of thousands. His profile, listing a dozen skills, never stands out. Why? Because no one is looking for someone who does a bit of everything. Clients are looking for solutions to specific problems. When a restaurateur needs a menu, they don't type creative Swiss Army knife. They type graphic designer specializing in restaurant menus. Leo, by trying to please everyone, speaks to no one. The only offers he receives are bargain basement projects, posted by clients looking for the cheapest option, because they're comparing Leo, the generalist, to all the other generalists. He has become a mere commodity, interchangeable. He thought he was versatile, but the reality is, he had become invisible. And this feeling of invisibility began to erode something far more precious than his turnover, his self-confidence. Chapter 3: The Multiplied Imposter Syndrome. The generalist trap isn't just about positioning, it's a mental poison. By claiming to know how to do everything, Leo put monstrous pressure on himself. One day, a potential client, for an e-commerce website project, asked him a very specific question about optimizing loading speed and its impact on SEO. Leo stammers. He knows the basics, but he's not an expert in technical SEO. He feels sweat trickling down his back. He feels like an imposter, a fraud who's about to be exposed. Every new request in a field he only has a surface-level grasp of becomes a source of anxiety. He spends more time frantically learning the basics to avoid appearing incompetent than actually producing expert-level work. He's no longer in a zone of genius, he's constantly in a danger zone. This constant anxiety paralyzes him. Instead of being proud of his skills, he's ashamed of his shortcomings. And this loss of confidence had a direct and brutal consequence on his wallet. Chapter 4: The Vicious Cycle of Low Cost. Here's the mathematical consequence of the trap. When you can't present yourself as an expert, you can't justify expert rates. It's as simple as that. Leo is unable to tell a client, "I am the best at solving your specific problem, and that's why my rate is €5,000. Instead, he says, "Yes, I can do that for you, my daily rate is €200. He has entered the commoditization game. He's no longer selling a transformation, a solution, he's selling time. And a generalist's time is always worth less than a specialist's time. He finds himself accepting €300 projects that take him a week, simply to pay his bills. Meanwhile, he sees freelancers on LinkedIn, who objectively have fewer technical skills than him but are specialized, charging those same €300 per hour. The frustration is immense. He works more to earn less, and the stress builds up. But the real danger, the breaking point, isn't even financial. It's far deeper, far more personal. Chapter 5: The Exhaustion of Dispersion. The generalist's silent enemy is mental load. Imagine Leo's brain. In the morning, he has to dive into code for a bug on a website. In the afternoon, he has to unleash unrestrained creativity for a logo. In the evening, he has to write social media posts with a marketing tone. Each task demands a different mindset, type of concentration, and radically different skills. This constant context switching is exhausting. He never reaches that state of flow, that deep concentration where work becomes fluid and excellent. He's constantly warming up for a new task, without ever truly performing. The result? His work becomes mediocre. Not bad, just mediocre. His portfolio, which was once his pride, becomes a collection of decent projects, but without any showstoppers, without any achievement that makes him truly passionate and screams, "This is who I am, this is what I do best." The exhaustion isn't just physical, it's creative. The flame that fueled him at the start begins to flicker, threatening to go out. Chapter 6: The Revelation, or the Power of No. Leo is on the brink. He's on the verge of giving it all up and looking for another salaried job. He feels worthless, underpaid, invisible, and exhausted. One evening, he stumbles upon the profile of a freelancer who does only one single thing: illustrations for children's books. That's it. Her website is clear, her message is crystal clear. She is the expert. And her rates are astronomical. For the first time, Leo feels not jealousy, but fascination. He understands. The power isn't in saying yes to everything, it's in saying no to everything else. It's a revelation. He makes the most terrifying decision of his young career. He opens his website, his profile, and he deletes everything. He deletes website creation. He deletes community management. He deletes video editing. He asks himself one question: what do I love doing more than anything, and for whom? The answer comes to him like a flash: he loves creating complete brand identities, from logo to brand guidelines, for cafes and small food businesses. That's his passion. From that moment on, Leo is no longer a graphic designer. He becomes a branding specialist for culinary artisans. And here's the most important part: what will change everything for him, and for you. Chapter 7: From Invisible Generalist to Indispensable Specialist. The change is radical. Leo no longer seeks clients, clients find him. A coffee shop owner looking to launch no longer searches for a cheap graphic designer on Google. They search for a coffee shop branding expert. And who do they find? Leo. His portfolio now showcases only stunning projects for cafes, bakeries, and gourmet food stores. His blog talks exclusively about the visual challenges of this sector. He knows their language, their problems, their dreams. During sales calls, the conversation shifts. They no longer ask him how much does it cost, but how can you help us attract more customers? He's no longer selling logos, he's selling growth. His rates tripled, then quadrupled. Not because his technical skills suddenly exploded, but because the perceived value of his expertise became immense. He works less, on projects he's passionate about, with clients who respect him. He stopped being a rusty Swiss Army knife and became a surgeon's scalpel, precise, valuable, and irreplaceable. He escaped the trap. Leo's story is the story of thousands of freelancers. The generalist trap is a comfortable illusion at the start, but a gilded cage at the end. Being a specialist doesn't mean you can only do one thing. It means you choose to be known for only one thing. It's a marketing choice, a positioning choice, not a limitation of your skills. It's the difference between shouting in a crowded stadium and whispering in the right person's ear. One is exhausting and ineffective, the other creates an immediate connection. So, the question I'm asking you today is this: what is the no you need to utter for your career to finally say yes to the success you deserve? What is that specialty, that area where you can become not just a simple service provider, but an indispensable partner? It's by answering that question that you'll transform from a fearful beginner freelancer into a confident, sought-after expert. Don't be the Leo from the beginning. Be the Leo from the end. Comment go if you want to launch your business. Don't forget to subscribe.